your underwear, or seeing the wind blow so damn hard you thought your skin would tear, or been so parched for one drink you thought that you might die, or been so mad at everything you just want to sit and cry? Have you been so cold with your hands turned blue and zippers would not close, with hands and gloves and coats so wet you couldn't wipe your nose, or seeing the dust so dry and thick you couldn't get your air, or tried your best to do things right for this that didn't care? Well, maybe you're a cowboy. These extremities do exist, but all the days that lay between, that cowboys like the best. That was Days by Leon Flex. Thank you. My name is Jessica Hedges, and I'm the crazy person who thought of the idea to put all this together. Basically, I got the idea as we've only been in this county for about less than 2 years now. And so as people found out that I did cowboy poetry, one of two things happened. They would immediately tell me about Sonny, about Leon, or both. And then they immediately jump into the fact that they miss having cowboy poetry here in the county. They miss seeing the shows and whatnot. So that's kind of how all of this began. Anyways, we are really honored here. We have Sonny's son, Jake, as well as Billy, Leon's wife, here with us tonight. And Billy has been huge in helping me put all this together. So I really appreciate you guys all being here to show them that kind of support. But without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our first performer, Tom. He has just been doing the cowboy poetry thing. I cannot speak tonight. The cowboy poetry thing for a couple of years, and he's come all the way over here from Tualatin. Is that how you say that? Tualatin. See, I told you, I just haven't been here long enough to get these names right yet. But anyways, something else you might not know about Tom is today is his birthday. Can you guys help me throw him there?
You know, I don't call myself a cowboy. I've got friends that say contraire. They say, but Tom, you own horses and you love to ride, and we'll just look at the clothes you wear. Yeah, I've got Stetsons and resistals and boots, a bunch of hair, and a closet full of snappy shirts and renders that I wear. Well, I know the label Indies G says they're cowboy guy. On me, it just means to get them on. I gotta suck my gut. And I've heard what cowgirls say about those Wrangler buds. It's only in the dreams that I've ever drove them nuts. Now, I say call me a cowboy just because of what I wear. It'd be like calling you Lady Gaga if you put tinfoil in your hair. It's a compliment I cherish, but it's going a bit too far. It's just knowing where they shop don't make me happy, man. They are. For me, cowboy is a name that ought best be reserved for those fitting the job description, for those that are most deserved. Me? I've never owned a cow or coming from a herd, so calling me a cowboy is just a bit absurd. I've never ridden night guard, never helped a calving cow, never doctored up a sickly calf, not sure that I know how. I've rarely worked a Brandon or eaten cookies chuck. I've never settled in a rough stock shoe and said, boys, let her buck. Close as I've come to wrestling with a steer, flipping a big old T-bone while sipping a frosty beer. But I have learned some from the girls, and I have rode with buckaroos. I've ridden with the wagons for weeks up in the blues. I'm at home up in my saddle, and I know my horse is mine. I can guide her with the gentlest touch, just a shift of my behind. And I've got to admit that the loop I throw is better than just fair. I am dang near deadly accurate when rolling a patio chair. And I write some cowboy poetry, and I like reciting my written verse. Those who hear it don't seem to mind. Could be much worse. See, I think mostly folks are just thankful I'm not writing cowboy songs. Because if you heard me try to sing, well, you know that that's just wrong. So while I don't give myself the moniker, I understand why some folks do. So if you want to call me cowboy, I'll leave that up to you. And if you do, I'll consider it an honor to be counted in that crew. I'll just smile and tip my hat and imagine I'm Chris Liedtke. But the truth is, I have done some of the things that folks said I have But if I have, it's just been for fun, not to earn a wage or make a living like I know a lot of you do, and a lot of my cowboy and rancher friends do. And with that in mind, I wanted to share a poem that I wrote about a buckaroo that some of you may know. You know, I don't know if you know a guy named Teddy Frank, maybe just a Morrill Ranch up north central Oregon. And Teddy Frank is a Facebook friend of mine, right? And kind of like Ross, you know, high-tech rednecks, right? Most of them are. And Teddy Frank, a few months ago, posted a close-up picture of his hand with a horrible rope burn right down the middle. And his Facebook post said, "Note to self, 3 dallies around an oak tree near enough to stop a runaway horse. Next time I'll be in the saddle before I toss my twine. But it's just skin, right?" That was his Facebook post. I figured there was a poem there, and I would be the guy to write it. So I wrote this poem. I call it "Teddy Frank is One Tough Hand." Well, Teddy Frank of the Morrill Ranch was out mending fence alone when coming to his attention was a charging wild-eyed run. Closing fast, that big spook-crazed mare was running for all she's worth. Her nostrils flared, her ears pinned back, a cyclone of hooves and her. Well, the mere sight of that hell-bent hoss would leave most men quite rattled, especially if, like Teddy was, surprised, on foot, unsaddled. Yeah, most men had ducked dive or run, but not Teddy, no sirree. He conjured himself up a plan, he'd not let that wild horse flee. Teddy recall was all alone. Most people would say outman, but not those who know Teddy Frank, because he is one tough hand. Surveying his situation, he figures his only hope would be one chance when she run by, he'd collect her with his rope. He'd toss a big old floating loop that sailed out of her ears. She'd know right quick she was bested. Let go of her crown of fear. So she'd settle down real sudden like. They'd become the best of friends. But that's not how the story goes. Nah, that's not how the story ends. There's a little wrinkle in Teddy's quick thought plan, the absence of a set. Can't just dally one by hand. But now that mare was upon him in a flash, she'd be on by, so now or never he figured it, he'd let his catch-twine fly. And then his plan adjusted some, because that horse sped up a run, and that's when Teddy realized his battle was just begun. With no horn wraps to slow her down, he runs with her best he could. All the time he's a thinking, another hand, it should be good. That horse was building up some steam. They were covering lots of ground. Teddy had his hands full, but took time to look around. He spots a lone white oak approaching. He figures that'll slow her down. So seizing opportunity, he runs some dallies around. Well, now I've caught her, Teddy thought, with 3 dallies around that oak. He breathes a big old sigh of relief and detects a whiff of smoke. Was an odor some familiar, although not that of burning tree. That's when Teddy realized, well, that burning smell is me. 3 dallies around an oak tree. Teddy says he has now burning near enough to stop a horse, which is why his hands now burn. And rather than feeling defeated, when Teddy takes it all in stride, he says, "Oh, it's just skin." Jump start, callousing up his eye. But next time, Teddy says, it needing to stop a runaway horse, next time, he'll be in the saddle. Then we'll see who's boss. Thank you. And I want to share another poem about another friend. And I know some people here. I know Jessica, you know Trey Allen. Going to be performing with Trey. Trey Allen is a friend of mine in Cowboys in Kansas. And he's quite a poet. That is the poster set that's going to be auctioned later this evening has a painting of him on it. This year's Cowboy Poetry Week poster features a painting of Trey Allen sitting on a paint horse working some cows. Anyway, Trey's a cowboy in Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas. And real interesting life. faced some real interesting challenges, and he's just been a tremendous influence on a lot of people based on his attitude and so on. And he's about 6 months right now in remission from a real bad bone cancer, multiple myeloma actually. And you might have read about him. He was in Western Horseman a few months ago, that story about Trey and whatnot. So anyway, I wrote this poem, kind of just reflecting on Trey. You know, I never had the opportunity to meet Leon Quick or Sonny Hancock, but I know their reputations. And I would just say that based on what I've heard of those men, some or maybe all of what I say about my friend Trey very well could apply to Sonny, to be honest with him. I call it one to ride the river with. That cowboy on the paint horse, pretty darn good card. He's been there, seen it, done it through times both good and hard. He's been at it for some time now, a good long stretch of years, rounding up calves and mamas and turning bulls to steers. He's worked on some big outfits, been boss on one or two, taught a lot of other hands a bunch of what he knew. And man, we learned plenty about punching and much more. Getting advice, a wise man be best to not ignore. Taught us what it means to be a worthy friend and hand about work and love and honor and how to treat the land. Told us don't just do a job, give it all you've got. You only go around once. Life's worth your best shot. He showed us the importance of keeping our word true. And if you make a promise to what you say you'll do. We watched him facing hardship with determination, and no matter the outcome, show appreciation for those that stand by you, that come along his side, ride with you through the humps and cheer you through the ride. One to ride the river with. That's his reputation, kind you want beside you in that situation. I've had good fortune to know some good men, the kind you can look up to and hope to see again. Not just for their achievements, although they're worth remark, but for how they live their lives, how they give a spark, kindling those around them to glow, grow, and give. Make the world a better place. Show us how to live. I ask, please, Lord, for more friends like the one thought of now. Give me more just like him, Lord, and please, if you'll allow, a lot more years for my friend so he can show us more what it means to live with grace before the other shore. I have time to do one more. And I guess we'll thank Jessica particularly. It's a pleasure to be here for her to invite me. As she said, I've just been writing for a few years, a little more than 2 years, but publicly, you know, maybe get down and get invited to share publicly. And so it's a real treat, and it's an honor to be here and be part of this tribute and hopefully part of this successful money-making deal to help the folks in the county. I'm also real proud to be an Oregonian, and that might not have been. My mom was raised on a farm in north central Nebraska. And a few years ago, she gave me some things that belonged to my grandfather. And included in that was the auction ad, the farm auction ad for the sale of Elmer Blake's farm, my grandpa, on my mom's side. And based on some of the content of what they were selling, they sold everything. They shipped some clothes out here. But other than that, they sold everything. And you know, 4 kids, grandma, and a dog, got to do it in February, you know. And so based on some of the content of that farm auction ad, some things that I own that belong to my grandfather, I wrote this poem. I hope you like it. I call it Replanted Roots. I'll leave you with this one. Team buildings, 4 and 6. One gray, one black as coal. Team roan mares aged 5 and 6. One comes with a foal. Smooth mouth gelding saddle horse, bay mare, and bay roan colt. A sampling of the horses Elmer Blake listed to be sold. 38 head of stock in all listed in detail. As I am moving to Oregon, I will sell at public sale. Calves, yearlings, steers, heifers, a registered Hereford bull, a dozen good milk cows, 2 fresh, another consumable, farm machinery, household goods, chickens in their feed, everything a family might ever want or need. Well, half noon, that notice said, sale get underway. You even noted lunch on site by Louis Cafe. 2,500 bushels or more of oats, barley, and corn. 16 dozen pullets and hens, Plymouth Rock and white leghorn. 100 ton of barley, hay, red fodder, and sorghum cane. Back there, black amber is the name they give that grain. Sulky, plow, and lister. Harrow, disc, and binder. Indian cedar, 12-foot rake, silage, sweep, and grinder, plus other machinery listed used to work the land. Horse-drawn gear, every piece, means Grandpa was a hand. A new 3-burner oil stove, the table from the kitchen, with 6 chairs, plus the high chair they used to put my mom in. Rocker, range, radio, dresser, the sink, beds, dishes, milk pails, churn, everything you'd think. Well, even on that list for sale was Grandpa's livestock brand. Now that's something I'd love to have seen or better have in hand. I'd keep it with the arrowheads that gathered on their land, left there by the Pawnee and a Sulakota band. Speaking of keepsakes, heirlooms from the day, I've got Grandpa's fiddle and bow, but I never heard him play. What I have heard is a treasure that will never go away, stories of my heritage and roots what paved our family's way. Mom telling a prairie rattler son on the path and huddled in the cellar while tornadoes leveled wrath. The hard work of farming and keeping up with chores and a month of Sundays sometimes between trips to the stores. See, my roots are dug from Nebraska soil up north by the Dakota line. It's where my mom and aunt and uncles were born and raised until the time Grandpa decided to sell the farm and move the brood out west, take a shipyard job because the war was on. And for that I am blessed. Because how else would my mom have ever met my dad, fell in love, and married, and had a son they had? I am truly blessed that Grandpa sold the spread and we planted our roots in Oregon, so we grow here instead. Thank you.
We really need to thank our sponsors. Lake County Arts Coalition came in and actually took care of most of this evening for us. These guys actually have to get here, Ross gave up almost 10 hours to be here with us today. So they helped they paid for the venue and stuff like that, the posters, so we really appreciate them. Sage Roots here in Paisley also stepped up and they put these guys up for the night. And Buckeret Productions took care of a lot of the time, the organization, as well as they're going to be feeding these guys while they're here as well. So if we could just take a moment and have a big round of applause for them. And, you know, in the Cowboy poetry world, I'm still just in the very, very baby steps. But I've been fortunate enough, I've been able to travel to most of the western United States, talking to people and performing, and it really showed me that I get to be an ambassador for the Great Basin, which is where I spent most of my life. And we have a very unique set of gear here, a unique set of horsemanship, a unique set of way of handling cattle and stuff. And a lot of other people who even do Cowboy, they would have questions about this stuff. So Sonny and Leon, they were levels beyond where I'll probably ever be, had this amazing opportunity to go tell each and every one of your stories every time they went out and performed. They told what it looked like here. They got to explain why we have a state fit course, why that's not stupid, that there's a reason for it. And they got to do things. I mean, Sonny got to go to a deal in Washington, D.C. with Jesse Smith, a poet that he traveled with. And this was for him to perform for a group of poets on a very national level. He got to speak on boards regarding what it's like to live in Lake County. I mean, the impact, I don't think we always realize the impact that those guys could have made for us and letting the outside world know what our life is like here because of their written word, because of their ability to get on a stage and connect with people and tell their story. So anyways, this is a very, very simple thing that we're gonna build on. The goal with all of this is we're actually gonna have an annual event. So hopefully those of you who will be willing to come back and try with us again next year, you'll get to see a little bit more done with this presentation, but this is why this presentation is put together. So, why the auction? As most of you know, you probably all know at least one person right now who Cowboys, and maybe a young family, that if, let's say, husband got hurt right now, would that wife have the money to pick up and go to Portland or Boise or wherever their husband just got air flighted to? How many mom and pop ranches would maybe have to hire somebody to come in and be able to get their calf crop finished out so that they can get paid and take care of their own medical bills? Any of these sorts of situations that can happen out here because we are so remote. This is why the auction is here. And what we're going to try and do tonight is raise funds for a Cowboy Crisis / Scholarship Fund. And all the money that is raised tonight will stay right here in Lane County. I know I've been this person. I know a lot of people who've been in that same situation. A wife that's laid there at night and wondered what would they do if something like this happened. But it was also kind of a funny story. My father-in-law actually worked for the DX. And when he came to interview with Sonny was in the hospital. He had been in some sort of horse wreck. And so it just seemed kind of an ironic thing to include that with it. But we have a couple of beautiful young ladies here tonight that are going to help us. We are blessed to have our Lake County Roundup Court here. Got Maddie Vickerman and Ruby Wilson here in the back of the room. And we're gonna have one displaying our items for us, and Miss Ruby's gonna be wandering around. If you win an item, she's gonna come over, she's gonna get your name and your phone number from you. So if you could just help her out with that information. They have tickets here for their quilt. This is the money that'll help these ladies go out and again, promote our county, promote what we're about and what we do here. So anyways, make sure you stop by at the back table there. You can see the quilt that Goose Tracks have done for them, and they can set you up with those tickets. At this time, we're going to go ahead and bring up our auctioneer, Craig Mills.
First item, if you want to bring it up here, thank you, is a choker built and donated by Peanut Bath. Yeah, Paisley Saddlemaker Peanut Bath. All right, here it is. Somebody be 125, 125. All right, number 2 is a Leon flip basket. Let's see what it is. Oh, here it is. It includes both sets of Leon's tapes, his book, a cow's tail for a compass, and a marble slab of his well-known poem, The Team. Marble slab is very neat. What a great gift item right here. And of course, all of our money is being donated to the Lake County Crisis, Cowboy Crisis. Here it is, here's number 2, ladies and gentlemen, somebody be 50 and 75. I'll give 50 and 75, 50 and 75, 50 and 75, 25 and 35. Thank you so much for your donation. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right here, somebody 100, and a quarter, 125, 150. Okay, here we go. I get 50, and 75. I'll get 50 now, 75. I'll get 75, now, hard. 75, and we'll 100 here now, 100 up in the now, hard. 75, and 100 here now, 100 now, 125, 125, 125, 100. All right, last one. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confused again. All right, this is a print, donated by over there, I would assume, yes, and she also took the picture. This is a print of Leon Mowing, that's framed in matted jewelry, original of Leon Mowing with the team, finishes at 16 by 19, and when Julie asked for Leon's permission to print and sell this shot, he said, make $1 million with it. I believe you would. All right, here we go. Somebody be 300. Ready forward, 325. I think 300 down 25. 300 down 25, over 25. 300 down 25, over 25. 300 down 25, over 25. Somebody be 200. Ready forward, 200, 225. I get 25. 50. 250 down 75. 275, over 75. 275.
One more big round of applause for our Lake County Roundup Court. As you guys have probably noticed, I broke every recitation rule tonight by using cheat sheets, but I'm going to do it anyways because these two men, their work was so amazing, and I get so horrible I've not gotten to memorize. But we're going to jump back in here, and I'm going to do one of my favorite Sonny Hancock pieces, the high step behind. I was born in this direction back when times was kind of bad, because I learned the occupation of cow punching from my dad. Down yonder in the cedar bricks on a greasy sacked outfit that was mostly held together by just work and hair and spit. Back in that state of history, at least in my part of the West, about the time they got you being, why, it was time to leave the nest. When man was all the labor, those little outfits seemed to need, and a kid my age was nothing more than another mouth to feed. Of course, that suited me okay, because school seemed pretty slow, and I thought I'd learned most everything a man had ought to know. I knew that punching cattle was the place I'd make them stand, because by that time I figured out that I was quite a man. Though there were plenty you could find about a score, because we were right there in the middle of the Second World War. So most outfits was left for the shoe meat beans with all the cowboys in the Army, or Navy, or Marines. I hit a salty outfit I heard was rougher than a cob. Boss said, sure, unload your sacks. Found yourself a job. When you talk about the horses, I thought he must read my mind, because he asked me if I could ride. Without will high second time. Well, sir, I've been informed of no voice, not weak nor small, but that's not kind updated. Suited me best of all. I said I like him energetic, and so that's the kind I picked, because I was one for it. Kind of like a witch instead. That outfit had them breeding up their horses quite a spell, and the raised the kind they picked suited these parts pretty well. You see, they needed something big and stout, but also stayed allowed, and it must have speed and quickness for the catch and the gap. So they got some thoroughbred greenhouse studs to start that herd of theirs, and then bred them to a bunch of them big old feather-legged Berkshire mares. I'll tell you, they was cat, and when deer out on the track, they could make them long old circles, and they sure knew how to buck. Next morning we had breakfast, quite a while at dawn. Boss led me out of doors, said his name was Leprechaun. And the reason that they named him that, he said, was pretty clear, because if he didn't take his head right quick, it just might disappear. So while you're riding out today, why just keep looking around. You'll see a bunch of little holes that's been punched in the ground. It wasn't made by badgers nor by birds, he said, and they're about the same size as a bragging cowboy's head. And this old pony Leprechaun he muttered through his nose is probably responsible for quite a few of those. Well, I rode that horse that morning down through the draws and over knolls, but it gathered many cattle, and we sure drilled lots of holes. And every day you had to watch it round the road corral, you see, when we caught horses it was raining. And it was raining mostly me. All the other cowboys got following me around, and you know why? Hey, they all figured I'd been busy taking lessons and learning how to fly. It was just one entertaining, and I heard one fellow say that he allowed as I was flying further every day. Another boy piped